Hivin and Vibin with Dr. Bibi.
I hope I got your name right, Susanne.
Yes, you did.
Fantastic. Susanne is an entrepreneur and a world-renowned CEO coach. She is also a number one international best-selling author and founder of Be a Smarter Leader. She helps CEOs lead with confidence, clarity, and impact, and she guides leaders across the USA, Canada, and Europe to stronger teams, sharper focus, and smarter results. Susan works with CEOs of SMEs who want to buy back their time so they can lead instead of being always on. So agree with you. So much to ask you on this. Design a scalable culture that people love being a part of. Create a CEO role they love, not one that drains them, and build lasting trust and performance across their team. Oh, trust is such an important ingredient nowadays. So we have a lot of points to discuss. We have so many topics that we need to go through. I think time will be of premium here, Suzanne. Okay, so let me begin by asking you, what's your mantra? What's that? What are those guiding principles that guide you to your work?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just want to start by thanking you for having me on your podcast. It's really great to have this conversation with you. And I think I've changed my guiding principle over the years, but I really now see that for me it's all about that I can. The past is the past. You can do nothing about that. What you can do about it is not letting it affect you in a negative way. And the future you don't know about. So you only have now. And what you do with your now is everything. And that you can actually create yourself as anyone you want to be. And instead of being lots of baggage and being someone coming from the past, you can instead say that this is who I am today, and this is who I'm going to be. And that is so interesting because that will set you free from your past and really looking into what's possible for me, what opportunities do I have if I don't have what I've always brought with me, that I'm not good enough, and instead to say, yeah, I am perfect as I am. The world is loving, and I can do whatever I want, instead of saying that the world is cruel and you know what I mean?
Falling apart.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you said that this is not the mantra that you had before. This is the mantra that you have now.
Yes, I would say so. And if it was any kind of mantra I'd had before, was more like the negative one, that I'm not good enough, and that has shaped me.
Ah,
Yeah, and
okay.
that I'm an imposter and yeah, but I always sort of had a belief in myself that even though those negative thoughts are always there, I've had that no matter the work I have or what I do in life, I will always survive. Things can happen around me, but I will survive.
Okay, so
Maybe,
that
yeah,
has been
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
that been your longest running mantra?
Yeah. I would say that actually. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So what I find now is that I find Suzanne the survivor in front of me,
Mm.
who is now moving into a pathway where she is instilling her present to be her forte.
Mm. Yeah.
Fantastic. And okay, so from here, let me look at how you are a coach also right now. So you help CEOs. What is the difference between coaching a CEO and coaching managers and vice presidents or general managers? What's the difference? Because I coach the middle managers, general managers, vice presidents, and a few CEOs here and there.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Because my focus is small and medium-sized enterprises. The CEO is often also the founder. And when you are part of a C-suite, or if you are a middle manager, that is, by the way, a really tough position to have, to be a middle manager. You still have it as your job. When you are the founder, this is your whole life. And what I focus on is when you are growing your company, and in the beginning you have your team and you are there for each other. You go that extra mile. You go in on a Sunday afternoon, no problem, because everyone's doing it for the company and the team. But as you grow, you as a founder really need to think about, do I want to be a CEO of my company, or do I want to continue being this person, being this spider in the web, doing everything, being the single point of contact of everything. I'm doing the selling, I'm doing the delivery, I have a team, but I'm included in everything. And when you transition to be a CEO, you can't be that. You need to hand that over to other people to manage your people. And then also you start realizing that, what? Not everyone within my team actually is here for this great culture, and they are doing it as a 9 to 5 work. And what's happened? And where is that fantastic culture that we have? It's not here anymore. So it's another type of coaching, and you are the sole point that everything you do ripples throughout your company. You have ripple effects. And if you direct and tell people what to do, that's how the culture is going to be. And if you listen to your people, wear your large ears when you go to work, that's how your managers and your people are going, or your culture is going to be like. So I actually love the saying, the fish rots from the head. That's but changing that to good way. So instead of doing that, you can create a winning company where people love to work. That is what I coach CEOs to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you actually you don't only coach the CEOs, you also develop the culture of the organization.
Yeah, I would say that through the CEO. And I can also work with the management team and help them create a team that works, as I have in my, that you introduced me with, like creating a CEO role that you love. It might be things that you are really great at as a CEO, but some things that should be in your CEO role that you hate or are really not liking or good at doing. And maybe your CFO or someone else in the leadership team might think that this is really fun. This, I really want to do this. And so delegate it to him or her instead. So you create your leadership team so that everyone both have a role that they actually know what's in it, because roles and responsibilities can be really unclear, and that creates a lot of frustration and irritation. But also that the best person for the job is doing it. So I had a client once that was like really, he was the developer, he was the, he wanted to go to fairs, pick up new ideas, create new products. And he was stuck in managing people. So he said, and he wasn't motivated. He didn't have any inspiration, and he dreaded going to work. So we changed that for him, and so he got to be the product innovator back again, and delegated all the management parts and the people responsibility to other people in the management team that were better at it and also liked it. So that is just an example. I hope I answered your initial question.
No, I just love it. I just love when I have my guest telling me things which slowly moves it to another question that I'm going to ask you right now, and
Okay.
that is, so you develop the CEO, you also shape the culture of the organization, even if it is through the CEO or it may be with the management team, but you're definitely doing that. And how do you then build lasting trust? Because this is something I think I'm definitely failing at. I'm really trying to develop, kind of a module where I can not build trust which is just there for some time, but build a trust which is strong and resilient.
Yeah, I would say that it has pretty much everything to do with how you listen to your people, and also how well you know yourself and how you regulate yourself in situations. So if you if you go and ask one of your team members, for example, a question, and they start answering it by somewhat, you think it's challenging for you, that they challenge what you have created or what you have done, or what you have not done, and you go back into start explaining or start defending yourself directly and stop listening. You just shut off your ears. Next time you will go to that person and ask him or her something, do you think they will really tell you the truth? No, they won't. But if you train yourself in being there with the other person, really listening to what they have to say, regardless of how they say it. Maybe they are really mad and they shout at you and because they are so frustrated. Still, you keep your calm. You listen what they have to say. You make sure that you get the other person to understand that you actually got them, that you really got their communication. You thank them for it, and you then discuss what you're going to do about it, for example. The next time you ask the same person a question, that person knows that you will listen to them and you will make sure that you understand what they said and there is an opening for action. And that, regardless of which way you do it, that will also have ripple effects to the other people about what you as a manager or CEO, how you are listening and talking to your people. And that creates trust. And also, it takes a lot of time to build your trust, but it can vanish in a second. And you have to start from the beginning again, if it's even possible to rebuild it. So trust is a really tricky one. And but I would say treat people with respect, listen to them and be purely interested in them. And also every person have different needs and wants. And it's your job as their manager is to empower and grow them, not empower and grow yourself, because that is not in the role. You are there for your team, not for yourself. And that is also something I think is a mind shift that many people in those positions should have, because many people see this position as something for themselves, that they have earned it, and that will give them responsibilities and reputation and status. But you are there for your people, not for yourself. That is what the role is all about.
Totally agree with you, Susanne. But there's a question that comes to my mind, and that is, how do you make them stick to it? I mean, they do listen for some time, and then something happens and it just wanders away. So how do you ensure that, you set an alarm or something and tell them, hey, buddy, you're going in the wrong direction? What do you do to make them actually, follow it sustainably all through?
Yeah, that's a really good question. In my book I just released, I have this 99-day roadmap where you train, you set yourself up, you set a target that you want to achieve or what you want to work with for 13 weeks. And then you create what you are going to do, and then you do it and you get feedback and you try it out, and then at the end you do also ongoingly, but then at the end you reflect a lot on what you did, what you didn't do, and how that made you change. And that is one way to create new habits. But 99 days isn't enough. You need to continue doing that. But in 99 days, you can definitely see the positive results of you, for example, delegating in a new way that will actually delegate the responsibility instead of just a task. And you see that other people, or the people you delegated to, that they are actually performing and they are owning what they have been delegated, and you can actually let go of control, of the control, and the and leave it with the person. But you need to delegate in a way, in another way to do that, instead of just handing over tasks and still being in control of it and micromanage them to get them to do what you want them to do, instead of saying, you own this, I want this result by this time, for example, and we agree on what type of training do you need, what type of budget, resources, for example. And then I sit on my hands and won't go into what you're doing unless you ask me and say, can I have some support? If I ask you and say, how are you doing, Susanne? How is everything going with this and this? And you say, yeah, it's going great. Thank you for this fantastic project or whatever it is. I'm on track. I know everything. Then you just say, oh, that's so great to hear. I'm here if you want anything, and I'm looking forward to seeing the result. And by doing that, you see how people grow, and that you actually also you can trust them. It's not just that they should trust you, but you can start to trust your people as well, because that is also an area that's that's a bit hard if you are the main person and you know that I'm doing everything the best. Because if I do it, I know how it's going to be done. And leaving it to someone else, that is really hard. And to create teamwork and cause other people to do things is another way of doing things than being a one woman or man machine. So I would say that train, experiment, see the positive effects, and when you do that, you will have you have a greater chance of continue to do that over a sustainable period of time.
So you mentioned your book, and I was anyways going to come to your book. So I would like to understand what did you write in that book? I mean, you did mention it's about 99 days.
Yeah.
But what does the entire book, have in it? And of course, I think we can get it in Amazon is where I think we can get it. So if you could tell us something about, what you have written in that book.
Yes, of course. It's the book is called Leadership Development for Smarter Leaders, in short, and it's about what I write in the introduction. It's pretty much for anyone, because you can always grow in these areas and be a smarter leader. You can always change things for the better. But it starts with how you as a CEO or manager or whatever, or aspiring leader, how you look at your time, if you are investing, merely spending, or wasting your time on things within the company. And if you are, as we talked about before, if you are the person who are in control of everything, you are working in your business, and that is, of course, if that is what you want, then you need someone else, for example, to be the CEO, to working on the business. But you need to free up time to do the most important tasks that you can do, and that is possible to do on every level of the company. And as we were talking also about, to delegate, to free up time, to really, also what we talked about, to start learning about yourself, seeing how do I do things, what type of thoughts come up in my head. For example, when someone is challenging me with something I did or didn't do, all those things around me as a person first, to be in charge of my time and my calendar, and knowing more about myself is the foundation for creating team and teamwork, and developing your team, making decisions in another way, not by reaction, by thoughts and data driven. So you have data in this new type of business landscape. Yeah, we are in, and when you're managing a team, there will be always sort of conflicts, and how you deal with them, how you give feedback, and how you do things when things are small, when issues are small, and if you go in there and you have the conversation, or you help to people that are like irritated and frustrated with each other, to deal with it in a way that creates trust and is respectful to both parties, for example, that will so much help you from, instead of just putting it under the rug, or saying that I don't have time for this, I am too busy doing all of these things. So free up time to listen to your people, be there, and solve things when they are minor, create a relationship to your people, and give them feedback for what they are doing that is really beneficial first, and create an arena of where it's possible to provide feedback. So when you have something that is a bit more not confronting, but something that you are not doing as expected, it's not confronting yet. But if you already then bring that up, you will have a person that knows that you are listening to them, and that you are providing feedback, and you think they're doing a great work. Then they will listen to you, and then they will also correct their behavior, for example. Instead of you just not dealing with it, and then suddenly it's a huge thing, and you go in there and you're angry and you shout at them, and everything will just escalate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go back a bit. Let's go back to the time when Susanne was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you from there, what are the attributes of Susanne, of little Susanne, that you carry with you even today? Or you don't carry with you, either of the two.
Yeah. I have always been sort of a team person. When I choose what sports to do, I never wanted to do any sports where like tennis, or where I was the only person. I played basketball for a really long time, and that's where I really found myself like really liking to be together with other people, being in a team, and doing great things together. So that is what I saw. And also in the class, I always liked when we were doing like group assignments and stuff, that we could create things together. And during my first like 10 years of after university, when I started working, there were always, I didn't understand why first, but people were picking me for leadership roles and saying Susan would be great here. And I didn't understand why, but at first, but then I realized I'm actually pretty good at this. because yeah, I have sort of a thing that this about listening to your people that has indirectly been with me for all my life, that it's not as important to me what that I get my saying in the matter. It's more important that if you are happy and you are satisfied and you really believe in what you're doing, why should I come and tell you my point of view or correct you in your belief? If you're doing a great job and that leads to our goals and people around you are satisfied with that, fine. I don't need to have the last saying and everything. And if I am the smartest person in the room, this is something that's really a lot of people are posting about on LinkedIn at the moment, like, yeah, leaders eat last, Simon Sinek. But yeah, like, really, if you hire people that are really excellent and you still start telling them what to do to be the person that knows it all, then you won't have those great people in your company anymore, because they can't express and do the things that there's their expertise when they have you telling them and directing them all the time. So be a smarter leader and listen to your people and create a fantastic company where you are doing what you are best in doing and letting your people be doing what they are best in the doing, and together create a winning company where people love to work.
I'm sure you must have faced struggles in your journey. Could we talk about some of the struggles which have actually shaped your skills, shaped your abilities, or even shaped the way you are today? You were talking about your mantra, so something must have happened for you to be thinking of just the present and not about the past and carrying the past with you.
Yeah. The first really struggle I had was when I was playing in my high school basketball team. And I wanted to be a guard, but that is the person, one of the persons, like setting up the play. And my coach wanted me to play center because I'm really tall. And I was like 17 years old, and he just put me in that position. I didn't know what to do because I didn't have, I didn't know. So instead of having the discussion with me, he just told me what to do, and I stopped feeling motivated. I stopped playing well. It got worse and worse, and one day I just left the team and never played basketball since. So that was a huge struggle for me, or a huge defeat, I would say. And that was the engine of me not being good enough. But there also was this thing born that you don't tell people what to do. You ask for their opinion, at least first. So really listening, because if we had a discussion, him and I might have been like fine with being the center, or I would have made a decision to stop playing for the high school team and find another team where I could be a guard. But instead, I stopped playing at all. And then a couple of years later, during the .com era in the beginning of 2001, we were building a large Swedish .com company. I was one of the main owners, and I was flying all over the world, and I lived in the Netherlands, creating that starting up the business there, and we were situated in 10 different countries, and everything was like fantastic. We had investors' money in, and everything was going great until one day when it didn't anymore, because we had like spending a lot of money, and the investors said, no, we won't invest more money in this company. The market is declining. We're going into bear situation, and we had to file bankruptcy. So going from like a really dream job to being unemployed and with a lot of debts, because I was what we called a money on paper person, that I had a lot of like possibilities when we were going to the stock market, but that just fell down in total, in the bankruptcy. And that experience shaped how I have worked since, that I made it my mission to work with companies and people, so that they don't have to go through the same experience I did. And I did that first through management consulting, and then in 2017 I started my own company and created this coaching business, and also being an author to sort of spread my knowledge in different ways, and supporting and help people to be smarter leaders, and to have more fun, and build successful companies that last, together with the people. Yeah.
So this career of yours, this entire career journey that you have had, is for the last how many years now?
Yeah, but let me see. It's around 30 years now.
And how have you sustained yourself as a leader? How have you sustained yourself to continue leading, for at least for the last 20 years, if not the entire 30 years?
Yeah, it's you build on what you have done previously, and you add to new experiences. And I would say that this about being a coach is another type of leadership that I'm developing right now. So you pick up and learn new things all the way. You never get to be like, now I know how it is. I'm 100% done. It's never like that. And of course, it's you have hard times where that is harder and more challenging than others. And when you're in good times, it's always easy to be a leader. It's when either the market is declining, or you have to let people go, or when you're in a situation. For example, I had a leadership position where I had all the responsibility, but no, I don't know what to say, that I had no control of no saying in what I wanted to do. And I realized that there is no point in being a leader just for the position. You need to be able to have the full space to create your leadership role yourself. Otherwise, if you're just boxed into a tiny square, this is your mandate, or yeah, this is what your thing, but you have this huge responsibility, but you have this much saying in the matter. That is not a position for me. And I also got a really important lesson by my youngest son. He has ADHD and autism, and he was not going to school at all, and he was home for 4 years, and I had a lot of discussions with the school, the social welfare, the hospitals that gave ADHD medicine and stuff. And I saw that there are so many areas where different responsibilities are really clear, but where I needed help was in between, in the with like the bigger picture of it, but no one took that responsibility. But what I learned from that is that really we are so different as individuals in a workplace, and people with neurodivergence is having a different type of brain, and that it's so important that you meet people where they are, not where you are, so that you lead differently for each person. And that is, again, up to you as a leader. It's your job to know your people and know what makes you tick, so to speak, and not be a generic one and do it your way or the highway. So
Right.
yeah.
Yep. That tells a lot about how you have been sustaining and managing yourself. And I hope our audience too learns, how to go about doing practices that can help you sustain. How would you like our audience to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm mainly on LinkedIn, and I guess that my LinkedIn link will be with this
Yep.
program. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's where you find me, and I post there almost every day, and I do events, and yeah, and you can also find me on Amazon with my book.
Through the
Yeah,
book. Yes,
yeah.
through the book. That was fantastic, Susanne. Thank you so much. You have, with your insights and your experiences, you have shared so much, so many gems that I hope, it will empower our audience and all our listeners the way that it should. It is fantastic to have you with us here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was great having you here.